welcome back to the channel. How are you all diddling? So this video was absolutely not planned. The plan today was to actually be really productive, record 2 separate videos and get myself ahead a bit. But that didn't happen. To do an outside video it needs to not rain, and it's raining. So we ended up not going outside. Then shortly afterwards The Incredibles came on TV, which I began watching with Pablo. And then I woke up watching something completely different. Pablo laid out on me, so we fell asleep for like 2-3 hours a day. So he's just chilling, this is what he does, and he gets you really sleepy and relaxed. So what I thought we'd do, because this is a question a few of you guys have mentioned in the comments before, is how do we clean up Pablo's hair, or how do we not get Pablo's hair on stuff? A lot of people have mentioned we wear a lot of black, he's got a black bed, and everybody always says we don't see hair on any of it. How do you do it? But before we get into it, you guys have smashed the like target on the past 2 videos, so let's go for 200 likes again and see if you can smash for the 3rd time in a row, and then I know it's not fluke. So you guys know what to do, and if you're new to this channel and want to see more, then do hit that subscribe button, because you don't realise actually how much this helps me out. And let's get on with the video. Quick disclaimer again though guys, this isn't me telling you how to do it, this is just telling you how we do it. There's probably way better ways, I'm not saying this is the best, so yeah. So you'll know we don't have a magic pug that doesn't shed any hair, he sheds like mad. Now in the case of we wear a lot of black and it doesn't show up, I think a lot of it's down to the camera not picking up the hairs quite that well, because if you actually have a look at this jumper here, what are you doing? It doesn't look particularly covered in hair. Oh my god, hello! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Wait, that's it! Right, what are you doing? Come here. You were getting aggressive. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better in this light specifically, but you can tell, if I move the camera close, it is absolutely covered in hair. What? Are you just gonna keep interrupting my video or what? Boop! You can see we do have a black bed though, and it is, you know, completely covered. I'm not gonna say it's not, it is. He's been very annoying. The couches as well look relatively clean, but if you actually get down on it, you can see it is covered in hair. Obviously the best way to prevent hair from going on anything is to get rid of the hair completely, so brushing him regularly, that definitely helps out because there's way less hair on stuff. I'm not saying there won't be any, there'll be definitely less though. You can always just get rid of them completely and get a dog that doesn't shed as much, but where would the fun in that be? So to get his hair off stuff and out of stuff, we basically use 4 items. One of them being this. Now this, honestly, is the best thing I have ever bought, and I couldn't recommend one of these to anyone anymore who's got a dog. They're just so convenient. It is nowhere near as good as like an actual vacuum cleaner, but the convenience of it means that you're not, or should I say, you can use it more. Because let's just say, for example, we've came in, Pablo's shook himself on the floor, and there's a bit of pile of hair there. He's been scratching himself and he's left a little tuft of hair. So like this here, there's a little patch here, which Pablo's now moving with his face. Thank you. So say he creates like a little patch like this. The rest of the floor is relatively clean. Most people, and we definitely would probably have been like, we're not bothered about that, we'll just leave it until we hoover the main part of the house. Because to get the proper vacuum cleaner out, you've got to get out the cupboard, unravel the cord, plug it in, then do it, and then ravel it back up, put it back in the cupboard. Now for something so small like that, you wouldn't bother. But that there is what accumulates up. It'll go on your socks, get put onto the carpet, go onto the couches from the car. You know, it's a vicious cycle. But it's so easy just to have this permanent side, you can just deck it off. Quick hoover. There you go. Takes all of 10 seconds to clean that up, but it does really help out, because obviously then that doesn't spread around the house. Perfect. Second thing we use relating to clothing wise are these lint rollers. Now these are like super cheap, inexpensive, and if you've got a pug, it is part of the expense of having one, surprisingly. Because if you don't, your clothes will be covered constantly. Every time we go to the house, our clothes are done with this, so then we don't get hairs in the car, and then, yeah, our probably don't need to tell you how lint rollers work. Obviously you peel a bit of paper off that's dirty, give yourself a brush with it, and just like that, people won't even think you've got a dog. Because I'm next to this, vacuum cleaner attachments are very important. Now you want something with bristles, some sort of rollers, stuff like that. The thing with pug hair is it intertwines into like fabrics, so using this just picks off the loose hairs, whereas you need something to kind of brush it to get the actual deep hairs out. So for the likes of hard floor, our furniture and the carpets, we use just like kind of the roller attachment as such. So you've seen what they were like before, so I'll give it a quick hoover and then show you after. So as you can see, absolutely no hairs at all. So that works perfect for the sofas. Now to use that on something like his beds, which don't have any kind of structure to them and they're not pulled tight, the spinning motion sucks the fabric up into it and then basically stops it from working. So so this is basically like a manual brush, so we give it almost kind of a scrub to move the hairs about. So what I'll do is black bed, which you've seen before but it's covered in hair, and we can get it pretty much like brand new again. So there you go, I've cleaned half of it and you can see there how much less hair. Now there obviously is a lot of fine hairs, there's still a few like crumbs and stuff in there, but as a general, well I mean you can see for yourself the difference. Up close it looks really weird on a camera, but that is like jet black. I don't know why it's coming across that colour. So your bed. So when we're doing the main carpet, we don't use that little one. A, because it's battery and we've got 20 minutes life, but a proper vacuum cleaner is way more powerful. Obviously you're using mains power. If you use the other one more regularly because it's convenience. Now, we've got that one there. Pablo's exploring the side table. Now both hoovers we've got are Dysons, and they are animal specific Dysons designed to pick up animal hair. So these might be slightly better than your just average Joe normal vacuum cleaners because they are designed for animals with the bristles and everything else. So as you can see, it's designed for hair pickup and it's designed not to get clogged with hair. Now I don't know how big this living room comes across on camera, but it's not massive. We're not living in a mansion or anything like this. Going over this floor once, which will take about 2-3 minutes, if that, we would have to empty the hoover out of all the hair. There is so much on this carpet, you wouldn't believe it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it with the hoover and then show you how we then get the rest of the hairs out, because believe it or not, this does not pick all of the hairs up. Hey, stop sniffing. So you can see here after one go it is almost, well it basically is max of what we're allowed in there. So it has taken up a lot of hairs. Now I don't know whether you can see, but in the carpet there are lots and lots of hairs still like embedded in. So the more often you clean your carpets, the less chance there is of them little tiny hairs being embedded in and like weaved into the carpet, but they're still going to be there. And as good as your hoover is, you're still probably going to miss a few. Now if they're that embedded in, the chances are they're not going to start coming out and going on your clothes or anything. But if you want to get rid of them, then this is where our last tool comes in, which is this. Now this is actually a brush that's meant to be used on a car, but it works just as well for a carpet, and I'm sure there are proper carpet brushes out there which I would recommend you getting one. As a hoover does is it's suctioning, you're lifting the pile of the carpet and kind of doing that. Now with this brush here, if we go next to like this patch here, it's lifted the carpet just like that one has, but it's actually lifted it a lot better. And if you can see as well, there's a few hairs that are still here, but have lifted right to the surface. And across this line here where I've kind of stopped, there's like a pile of them. And that patch there now is immaculate. Don't get me wrong, going over it with just the hoover and having a few still weaved in is perfectly fine. But if you really, really want to do that proper deep clean, give your carpet a full brush. Now obviously this isn't the biggest of rooms, but this also isn't the biggest of brushes. Now to do a full room is a big job, especially to hand brush the whole thing. Obviously you can get a lot bigger brushes, but I'll recommend to anybody who's getting a pugs more specifically is to keep on top of it, you know, hoover the house every night, every other night, depending on how often you want to do it. But staying on top of it is absolutely the best way to keep it gone. Because if you let it build up for like a week and then hoover it, you're going to be picking up a lot from the floor, but you're going to be missing quite a lot. Now this video has probably been very long and I do apologise if it has been long, but if you made it this far then thank you very much. But this was a question a lot of people did ask of me, and I know it's not of everyone's taste, but I hope you guys who requested this enjoyed this. And if you're just watching because you're a fan, then thank you so much for still being here, because I can't imagine this was the most of interesting videos to anybody who didn't specifically request this type of video. I don't want it going on any longer, so peace out guys.